tell us about this Portland man who is being charged for various sex crimes. Tell us everything that you can.
Yeah, so it's kind of a standard story, unfortunately, that's taken place across America on a regular basis. Kids will find themselves online talking to what they believe is a peer, and that ends up being not a peer. And through that conversation, it leads to a time where they are feeling compelled, forced, convinced to send pictures of themselves, sometimes across the state, the city, the country, and it's not to who they believe that it is. And then once they've started sending a couple of pictures, they just keep sending more and more because they feel like they're in a hole that they can't get out of, and they just keep trying to get out of it. So that's what was happening with this guy that we ultimately arrested, was that he had convinced kids to send him hundreds and hundreds of pictures of themselves.
How did he do that?
Made contact with them via online. I don't remember the exact, or I can't talk about exactly the mechanism that was, but online, talked to them and convinced them to start sending pictures of themselves.
Did he threaten them if they didn't?
There was coercion that was involved, yeah.
Okay, but you can't explain the...
There was coercion that was involved.
Gotcha,
yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
And so what crimes is he charged with?
So it's compelling... Actually, I'll have to look up the exact ORS that he was charged with, but basically creating child pornography.
So did he ask a mom to send pictures of her kids?
So that is we're going to figure out exactly with all the people that are involved. Right now, it was the correspondence that was taking place directly with the child.
How many kids do we know of two right now?
At this point, we have we know that we have 2 victims, but we're figuring out how many more we have.
Yeah. How common is this sort of thing in this area?
So it happens all the time. Anytime that we have a child that is being victimized, what we encourage people to do is go on to the NECMEC website, NCMEC, and report it. What that'll do is that'll start the trickling effect of us being able to kind of get the retention of where it is, who it is that's taking place, and obviously it is happening all the time. It's happening on a regular basis.
Even here in Portland?
Absolutely, here in Portland, it's taking place.
So, like, you deal with cases like this all the time?
These kinds of cases take place very regularly.
I'm just shocked. That's why I keep saying it.
Well, we just want to make sure our kids are safe, right? Yeah. And a big part of that is just making sure that our parents are just aware of what's going on online. That's one of the biggest benefits to these kinds of predators, right? Is they want their victims to be in the dark, to not have connected parents that are not looking at what they're doing online. That's one of the best preventions of this kind of behavior. If our parents can be very involved in the online life of the children, asking, being inquisitive, who are you talking to? What are you guys talking about? Hey, if these kinds of things are asked for of you, those are red flags and warning signs that we want you to stay away from.
What kinds of red flags should we be looking at?
Yeah, anytime that kids are starting to have very adult conversations, when sex is being talked about in conversation via an online chatting or gaming, that's super problematic. That's kind of grooming behavior 101, right? Where an adult is trying to have an adult conversation with a child, things that are not necessarily like typical of the age. That's what we want to watch out for. So anytime that a parent feels like this kind of conversation is taking place, that would, I would say, be a warning sign. Talking to people that we don't know online, right? A lot of relationships and friendships are built online now. But if you don't know who this person is and you're sharing intimate parts about yourself or intimate pictures, that's something that parents should be dramatically concerned about, right? We want them to be very aware of their role online and what it is that they're doing online.
And was he telling these kids he was like someone their age?
So I don't know exactly how the conversation began, but quickly it was learned that because of the coercion that was developed, that it was, they knew that they weren't a friend anymore. And they kind of lived underneath the guise of that fear for a really long time. And that's a pretty common thing, where once they realize, I have sent this image out, there's no getting that back. I can't reach back out and take that from being done. What a lot of times suspects and predators will do is they will utilize that first instance of doing it to compel them to do more. If you don't do more for me, then this is going to be released. If you don't send me more pictures, I'm going to send this to all of your friends. I'm going to tell your parents. Your parents are going to know what's going on. And they will use this as a compulsory thing to make them continue to keep feeding the beast. And that's what this guy did.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
And so he might have more victims in this area?
We're gonna be able to do an entire forensic investigation as far as what kind of things were shared on his devices, and hopefully be able to learn if there are any more victims.
Is it hard to catch people like this? Because, like you're mentioning, I'm sure kids are scared to talk about it since so much goes on that we don't know, right?
Yeah. Ton of shame about it, right? Like it's if you think about the ages that are specifically being targeted, there's already a lot of insecurity. Couple that with, I know that I just did something that maybe wasn't okay, and how do I first approach my trusted adult with, hey, I messed up. I don't know how to unmess this up. So they're trying to take that on them. They're trying to figure it out by themselves without coming to that trusted adult and just being like, I've messed up and I don't know what to do anymore. And that's really what would be the best course of action. Approach a trusted adult, include law enforcement into the process so that we can ultimately get to the bottom of it, who it is that is being the predator out there for our kids.
Who can these kids talk to? Maybe they don't want to go to law enforcement just yet because they don't know how that works. Who can they go to?
Yeah, I think that they should go, obviously a parent. Their parents hopefully are going to be robust and involved in their life, a school counselor, a teacher, somebody that they know in their life that's going to advocate good things for them. I think that that's important. As long as we can get this process started, that's what we want to do.
And of course, if they do decide to take action, is there a website or for them? I think you mentioned it.
Yeah, so NECMEC is one of the easiest ways. People that they can anonymously submit reports of activity that they know is taking place online. They can do that there, and I would encourage them to do so.
That's actually very good. If it's anonymous, then that takes out the shame aspect of it, hopefully.
I would also encourage any parent that just doesn't know how to talk to their child about this subject to go to that website. There's a lot of tutorials for parents that will really like focus on the red flags that they should be looking for, any kind of problematic behavior, things that they can do to like make sure that they're being good advocates for their kids and just keeping them away from any kind of that predatory behavior.
And I have to ask you, since social media is just expanding, are you seeing more cases like this?
Yeah, I would say across like all fronts we see this, and it's since the innovation of social media, I think that people have used it to victimize people, and that's still true of this day. We depend on our partners in the social media world to be responsive and to shut down when they have known instances of any of these child abuse cases taking place, to shut down accounts, to be able to stop people from being able to share these kinds of images, and we've had pretty good success with that.
That's great. So what I'm hearing is that the more social media there is, the more cases of this happen.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, it's an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
So it's constantly taking place.
And but you haven't seen your caseload increase at all?
Oh, as far as that goes, absolutely. I mean, we have thousands of cases a year that are being reported to our office. For various reasons, that case may or may not go forward. Maybe it's hard to be able to know who the victim is, figuring out where the suspect of the crime is, how layered their internet protection is to be able to figure out where it actually comes back to. So there are a variety of things that can be hindrances, but absolutely the instances of reporting has exponentially gone up.
So you guys are getting more cases. Since when would you say you saw this exponential increase?
I mean, really since 2020, once everybody was forced into an online world, right? As soon as we kind of went towards everything was done online, dramatically more so than ever before. I think that since the innovation of that, we've seen it exponentially climb, and it hasn't slowed down.
And when we say it, we're talking about like child pornography cases?
Child pornography cases, exploitation cases, kind of anything that has that kind of a nexus to it has exponentially increased.
Anything digital?
Anything digital, the whole digital world.
My God. Well, is there anything that you can share with us that's a little positive about your growth here, just so we don't just...
I really want to just highlight our federal partners. We're incredible in this. Without their teamwork and HSI specifically, it would have taken a lot longer to be able to be so responsible on this. Because of our federal partners, we were able to move very quickly and ensure that we had a couple of kids that were safe and no longer being exploited.
That's really helpful. And one curious question, and if you don't have an answer, that's fine. Do you notice any like trends with people who do this kind of thing, like traumas, or is there continuity in these offenders?
I think that it's pretty common that we're seeing people that are just trying to exploit for money. Like that's one of the biggest trends that I would say that we're seeing, is that we're having a lot of kids that are finding themselves online they will mess up and send an image, and immediately it's an extra. They're not necessarily even wanting more images. They're wanting money. So it's quickly saying, hey, you need to go get your mom and dad's credit card and give me their credit card information. You need to send me gift cards. You need to send me these things. A lot of this is coming to us from overseas. A lot of our suspects are coming from overseas. But that's a fairly common thing that we're seeing right now.
Wow. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I would advocate for kids that have maybe already found themselves in these waters. Today is the day that you can get out of them. Come and talk to your parent, talk to the trusted adult, stop sending images, stop talking to the suspect, stop giving them the power, and we want to be here to help you and support you.